segue time. What could we do with a abandoned Lowe's retrofitted into one of the most terrifying goddamn sets I have ever seen? And that is underwater, set just at the Marianas Trench. You've got H.P. Lovecraft, Alien, and Christian Stewart spearheading all of this, and it got snubbed, damn it. It was trashed on by like everybody but actual horror fans.
That's the thing, because going back to me being upset about Invisible Man, that is certified fresh 90 something. This is like rotten. Like no one likes it. And it's just me off. It's shocking because we saw it in theaters.
4 times.
Multiple times. Because I remember just seeing the trailer. I'm like, I don't know what this is.
But I'm curious.
I was like, it might be interesting. You have the really good like opening scene.
Yes.
Depressurization warning. See protocol.
Shut the door.
That's the thing. It's like if you want like a tension, like sweat, like palm
you will
sweating
sweat
tension
in the first because there's a minute of monologuing at the very start with Kristen Stewart, followed by the mining rig literally blows up, and you're sweating in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Actually, I was sweating for the first 5 minutes of the movie and to the end.
The movie just kind of like, just to kind of start diving into it here, because as far as like the people who made it, I don't really know what else the guys made. I don't think it's
there's not a lot of big name stuff. This was kind of their big debut in regards to that.
But it had like pretty big names in it. And it starts off like just immediately. It's just like, okay,
metaphor with a spider.
It's just like, oh, there's Kristen Stewart. She's kind of like half naked in this underwater facility. Got it. And then it's like, okay, pressure leak, and now everything's going to shit, and it's genuinely terrifying.
It is.
It's like really tense and well done, because this movie wasn't that big of a budget, so it's just like the fact that they were able to like have just all of those shots going,
the shots and the acting of the tension on that. The crawling sequence right after that.
Hey, we got this, all right?
You guys okay?
Yeah.
It's scary. I love it.
Yeah, Kristen Stewart's actually good in this movie.
Yes, she's really good.
She's good at doing that. Like, she's awkward, but she's like I believe she's like an engineer.
Yeah, she's their like chief engineer,
and she has reasons to be awkward as well. Yeah. So in the past couple of years, she's been casted correctly
for once,
and she's kind of owning her image
she
more
really
so.
Stands out
and
in this.
Yeah, it's like night and day because she's basically acting in a way the same as she does in those Twilight movies. But it's amazing how good casting can like level out an actor.
She's this awkward, even her role in that, like in terms of her profession, she's not dealing with people. So her character has like a stutter and stuff. And Kristen really plays with that whole throughout, trying to communicate with the rest of the team.
Smith reported 7 dead.
I found 3. It was Lee, Travis, and McKellen, and McKellen's hands were still warm, so I know it was McKellen. I mean, she lives 3 floors up, and I was brushing my teeth like 2 hours ago. And I had to shut the door on the entire East Wing, so actually, you know what? There could be more.
The suits can't be down there that long, you know that. Not everyone here is an experienced diver, and...
That we never know.
I'm not trying to be... Can you just admit we might die doing that?
You guys hear me?
It's amazing how they set up in the first about 10 minutes or so. You know almost everybody's agenda except for the captain, who I'll rant later because on the third viewing, I really dissected the crap out of this movie at the theaters. There is, you know, where everybody's from, what they've done in the first 10 minutes. There's no need for a long exposition, yet you're invested in the survival of almost every single character. And that's really well done.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's cool about this movie is like at the beginning, it's like this is a survival movie.
Yes.
This movie really has parallels to The Descent.
Yes.
From 2004. think.
Yeah, it's an early 2000s.
But because it's like the first half of the descent is like, okay, we're going rock climbing or cave diving,
slunking,
whatever, and then it's like, oh shit, things have gone wrong. We got to survive. We have to get going here, and then it's like halfway through there's monsters, and this is.
They do that, but then they dial that to 11 because you're not sweating about monsters or jump scares.
No.
The whole rig is falling apart, and you're seeing people dying in real time and stuff, and hearing it over like the comm chatter and sweating over that. Yet then they start sprinkling in throughout all of this. They don't even, the big reveal of the monster happens in the fucking background. I don't like cursing, but oh my god, was that terrifying? That you already see the fish creature like pretty much 15 minutes in, and it's a background moment while they're trying to get themselves sorted. It's when all the debris is falling, you see it swimming around, and it's so well done. You're terrified the entire time, and it's first the mining rig, and then you realize the monster's already there. Like, they give you no breathing room in this movie. Well, there's that one sequence.
Yeah, this movie really should have been called Phobias, the movie.
Because
it was like, it played of I'm not James Cameron, so going like down into the mirror and entrance that deep does not sit well with me. And then also the claustrophobic feel of it. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. When it's like it's the descent multiplied by 1,000, it's true, because it's like there's so many things. It's like being in a confined space. Having shit go wrong.
Right.
Where do we go?
Guys, what's going on?
Keep the door closed! Keep that door closed!
Being attacked by killer fish monsters.
I just saw that.
Oh my god, I saw that.
You know,
and that doesn't even hit the final phobia, which I have, which is a fear of just giant creatures. The last payoff is we thought it was Cthulhu the first time, but they actually do a bunch of subliminal background messaging that's actually Dagoth, this old god. Dagoth's the old god, Cthulhu's the ancient one, I think. I might have had those mixed up, whatever. It's Dagoth. The fish people are like his children, and then he reveals himself at the end, the mining rig or prison barge. We don't know what the hell's actually going on. There's so many layers of conspiracy theory building up in the background of the shots.
Yeah, none of this is also like...
cry.
Yeah, none of this is like given to you. It's just like you need to watch and pick things
You
apart.
need to pick it apart to see it. The captain knows what's going on the entire film, and your first viewing, I don't expect anybody to see that. However, he's got notes about the various monsters and stuff, and when you finally see his locker at Site B, he has a map of there's a picture of the fish monster, there's a map of all the sites, says it's a containment facility, and it even has Dagoth's name on the freaking writing.
The captain's played by Vincent Cassel, something like that. He is a really good French actor. Yes. He was in like famous one was like Irreversible, and then he was in Black Swan as well as the dance instructor.
That's where I remember him from.
He gives off like, he's another guy who gives off just like a genuine menacing vibe.
You trust him, but you have something about him.
But he's so nice and sweet and heartfelt in this.
Are either of you two married?
Was.
Kids?
Daughter.
How old is she?
14.
She's not 14. Allie? She's gotta be like my age, right?
I said 14. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know why I said that.
You're losing it, old man. You're going senile down there.
It's actually a normal neurological reaction. When you're facing death, time just...
Listen to me. You're not gonna die.
Just like another, just like good acting again.
It is.
Where he's kind of playing outside of his comfort zone in ways. Because he, like I said, he's an intense, kind of creepy actor. And then it's just like, I kind of just want to give him a hug, especially when you start learning more about him with his loss. There's a theme of like loss in this, of like characters kind of being down there because they're like, oh, I have nothing. Like that reveal with his daughter is like really heartbreaking.
Been dead, but you think she's been alive for the whole time.
Yeah, he's like lying to her and stuff. Yeah, it's like really sad. And you're like, that's really, and then and by the way, this is like as like plot is moving.
Yes,
it's like this is
there's no exposition.
yeah. It's just like situation is always at front, but then as situation is going on, they sprinkle in these moments to give characters like an actual characterization and depth to them, so you care about what's going on. It really reminded me. It's not as good, but it really reminded me of Mad Max Fury Road in the same way, where it's just like the whole movie is a chase sequence. This whole movie is just like. It's like I got to get from point A to point B, which established as returning point one, and it's like we got to go, and then you get a nice group of little characters in it, and you want them all kind of to survive, and then they just don't.
No, they get murked. Like we got a guy who gets his organs sucked out at one point. Another dude's face blows up because his suit's not pressurized, and a lot of people get just munched on.
Yeah, if you're not a fan of all the stuff that happened with T.J. Miller, and you really just kind of want to see him die in one of the most violent ways ever. Underwater is your movie.
This is the movie for that.
There is a suit up moment in this movie, kind of reminiscent to like movies of like Pacific Rim and stuff. But it's really great. They're all like, okay, we gotta walk on the surface of the Marianas Trench, so we can get to this other facility, because this facility is just done for. It's just consistently exploding and collapsing into itself. So they're like, gear up, boys and girls, and they got the chains going on. And we were just talking about this
fan service moment, but it's actually a joke at your expense. It's a close up of TJ's butt the whole time, and oh man, was I in tears at that. That was great.
It's pretty great, and but the look of those suits, I mean,
there's no refuting those.
Gears of War should take a book out of that. Like Dave, I was just imagining like Dave Bautista in one of those, and I'm like,
oh, that would be amazing.
This would be great with his chainsaw laser.
They are science fiction yet functional, and that's what I love about it. Is they have that fantasy element, but it's so grounded that's like, I could see this underwater, or I could see this in outer space. It would work.
Several aquatic suits have also been made that are largely wearable submarines with your arms coming through flexible elements so that you can operate and manipulate tools on the ocean floor. So we kind of did a best of all of those suit elements that are kind of easily accessible to the audience, so that when they see the suit, they kind of get it right away.
All of the fishmen have kind of different appearances, which
it's like levels.
At first, it's that layer again where you don't know if there's more than one or not at that point, because it looks different every time, and it always seems to be everywhere at once.
Well, they kind of like they first established that there's the monsters when they find that little baby one, which reminded me of Alien, and that was also creepy because it's like they're kind of like poking at it, and then I believe it like starts to try and attack them, and like that's a good little like jump scare moment.
It is,
and that's like, and those are like your little breaks within where it's like, okay, we are in this like area that was going to be like submerged or something.
Yeah,
it's they're
like elevator.
Yeah, it's like an elevator. So it's like, okay, we're just waiting to get to this level, and then meanwhile, let's dissect this thing. So once again, like the structuring of for the writing of this and what type of movie they're doing is really well done. And this movie came out like it was being made before Fox got bought by Disney. This is a 20th Century Fox movie, and it's a shame that like they now are owned by Disney, because they were pumping these and War of the Planet of the Apes and all the Deadpool, even like they're pumping out these movies that were really like risks. Like I don't like, it's like they just didn't care, but in them not caring, they were making movies that were so good. And it's a shame that just like none of them were actually like that success. Like this was not successful.
I know, because now we won't get a continuation of this baby, and it's awesome.
This feels like it will be a cult film.
Hands down.
Reason why.
And I will form that cult.
Reason why we want to do a
praise takeoff,
like a spotlight on it as well, just because it's like every person I talked to, I was like, you should see this. And I have recommended people that didn't like it. Yeah. But I was just like, you know what? Give it a watch again a little later. You'll probably like it. You'll like it more as you go on. And
yeah, I love it. It's just a love letter to my favorite horror series, which is Alien. And it's that beautiful love letter, and the layers in the movie. It's not one-dimensional.
Sure how long it'll last. Does any one copy?
Into the production design of this movie is amazing.
And that's where they should have won something. That's where I feel pissed about the set.
We watched the behind the scenes on this movie as well. And they actually went down to Florida and like rented an old abandoned Lowe's and turned that just into this huge set, and it worked perfectly. They had like a backdrop. The way that they did like the visual effects and everything was like a mixture. It was like a mixture of practical and visual. CGI, so the underwater effects in this movie are really good.
Yes,
they're really good. It feels like they're underwater.
They didn't CGI any of that blackness. That was just lighting.
No, yeah, that was just them having like black backdrops in their set and then just knowing how to morph it together. And the sound design in this movie is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of going back to a few other movies like King Kong vs. Godzilla had really good sound. This one has really good sound where you're underwater and it's like
forced to hear it.
Super quiet, and then you hear little things, and then there's like the banging and the metallic sound. The opening really solidifies it with all those explosions.
Like once or twice in this movie, one during the suit up, and then I think she plays music when she's in Site B. But speaking of this sound design, there's no music playing any other time. So you're forced to listen to all the little audio effects and stuff they were playing around with. And it's really jarring because of that.
There's also a great moment where she has like a Ash moment where she's like, I got to build something to get out of this facility.
Guys, I'm just gonna keep talking. I don't know if you can hear me.
Groovy.
Underwater is a wonderful film that has really fun moments, and is intriguing to actually see how they made it. Once again, it's like a low budget film. I mean, I think it had like 40 mil or something like that, but that's pretty low for something like this. You know, trying to do underwater effects, trying to do all these things, and they just nailed it and pulled it off really well.
Really well. And it's a movie you can review multiple times because of the sheer amount of crap going on in the background.
Yeah. And if you see it, buy it, because it's like I said, it's a Fox movie, and Disney owns Fox, and we all know how Disney is with their releases. So if you see this, just fucking buy it. Yeah. If you want to watch it, just get it.
Please support. Yes, I need more underwater content, or at least something down the road, because all the props, the creature effects, everything's so good, and we need some love for it.
Just in general, get it to watch those behind the scenes. Like the behind the scenes of it are really interesting, and it has over an hour of just really fun kind of like. I think they go into the production design of it. They go into the visual effects. There's like a whole little documentary on like all the levels that they took to actually make it work. And yeah, if you're into film, watch it. If you hate TJ Miller, watch it.
Yeah, I was gonna say TJ Miller gets
if you don't like Kristen Stewart, watch it, because you might get a different opinion on her. Yeah, if you want to watch a girl running around in her underwear for half a movie,
she might be the, with quotations, main character, but the movie's not about them. It's about the bigger thing at play. You're going to be so transfixed on the horror aspect that it all kind of just melds together very nicely.
The situation mixed in with the elevation with the
human element.
Well, the human element. I was going to say the situational horror mixed in with the like actual creature horror is really good. It's creepy and scary, and it will play with like some phobias you have. Like if you were claustrophobic, this movie, you might not even be able to watch it. Like,
if you have even one phobia, it's going to be in there at some point. That's what they do.
If you have fear of like depths of water and stuff like that. And
or like giants. I was not ready for the Dagoth reveal. I almost passed down the chair.
That was really cool. I really enjoyed it.
I had a heart attack.
That's when the movie gets like, it gets like really fantasy, and it's like, hey, I like this is fun, so well done, interesting. If they made a sequel, you and I talked about it, we said like if they did a sequel, it would be like Aliens, where they go underwater as like a crew to kind of like
Extract.
and kind of kill things. Yeah. So
I think they'd have to go and they'd want to get a piece of the big thing to do whatever the hell they want as a MacGuffin to get them there, and then it just goes to hell.
Well, that's when you can start focusing more onto like the actual corporation, because remember at the end they have that really great ending credits with all the news clips,
but that like plays throughout the whole thing. That's why I love this movie as much as I do, because Wayland's basically in this movie.
Yeah, the world building of it's really well, and it is like a in the vein definitely of Alien for sure. Just as like The Invisible Man is more in the vein of like a drama, like a thriller drama, and those are really great. They play into different notions, and that's why I wanted to talk about them. They kind of feel similar in that elevation for being not what you expect it to be. This movie was advertised like it was just going to be a stupid creature feature, but it turned out to be a nightmare thrill ride.
Who knows what's going to happen? And you just can't predict.
Yeah, crank your volume when you're watching it, and watch it on a big screen, and shut your fucking lights off, and you might even have to crank the brightness up a little bit just to see some things. This one was one where I was like, I'm really happy we saw it in theaters. Any movie that tries to play with the dark is always better in theaters for me.
It is, but it also causes Alex to pass out on the second viewing of it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you fell asleep during the second viewing.
I did fall asleep. That's that's not the movie's fault. That's
you working.
That's society's fault for having me work 3 jobs. But I thoroughly enjoy it. Kristen Stewart's good. She rocks a short haircut.
Hell yeah.
And the acting is just great, and the characters are not flat.
No,
there's actually characterization.
There's meat to them with like maybe a couple minutes of dialogue.
Some are body bags, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the actors they got aren't charismatic and interesting. And you really want to go from point A to point B, and you want to see them survive, just like in The Invisible Man. You want to see her,
and they take it from you,
and they
each
nail
step of the way.
So 2 Oscar snubbed movies, production design for. It's not even like it should have won. It just would have been nice to get nominated.
I recognized for its work.
I don't know if maybe like other kind of like horror award shows even touched on this. I don't think anyone saw this.
We'll make our own, damn it.
You know, this was popular, but this wasn't.
I know,
and it's a shame.
It hurts me.
And this was 2019, so like the tail end of 2019,
right at the end, because they didn't have confidence it would be good.
Yeah, and it was in theaters for months, but remember, it was in theaters for months, but nowhere at the same time,
and no marketing. Yep,
stupid. But I'd recommend it 100%. Just like The Invisible Man, I'd also recommend. I think that these movies were definitely worthy of talking about and also not going off topic about.
Yes.
So this was kind of the whole idea of doing these spotlights, because with Review Rant, it's like 400 movies and they're kind of mini reviews, whereas these I'd really like to actually sit down, talk about them, tread on certain things multiple times, but I just think they're interesting ideas, and I just would like to see more of these types of movies get made. Just like I'm excited that they're doing more of these monster films in this way. They don't even need to be connected. Fuck trying to connect them. Make them individual movies.
Just have that own standalone.
And anytime a movie comes out that can nail a never stopping like situation while also having characters that are intriguing is always a thumbs up. And
set building and combining of those effects.
Those are hard to do.
Take all of that crap, please. Use this as a font of inspiration, because that's how you perfect that. Because that was awesome.
And and if you want to see Kristen Stewart's butt about 5,000 times in this movie.
Yeah, that's also a thing. Yeah. And also a call back to Ripley. Watch the damn movies.
We're done. I'm not talking anymore.
Whoop.
Fuck you.